Hey there, coders. Today we are tackling a common coding challenge asked by top companies like Amazon and Adobe, fetching the data sequentially with promises. So it's a frequent interview question, and by the end of this video, you will know how to handle it with ease. Let's start with the fetch data for user ID function. This function takes a user ID as an argument and returns another function. The return function is responsible for fetching the data from the API using the specific user ID. So it makes a request to the placeholder API and returns a promise that resolves to the user's post. Now the real magic happens in the fetch sequential data function. So here is what's going on. We start with the resolve promise. We initialize promise with promise.resolve to ensure that we can chain calls one after the another. We loop through the array of functions. So we use for each to go through each functions in the array. Each function, as you remember, returns a function that fetches the data. Then we call the function. So inside the loop, we call each function one by one using dot then. When one function fetches its data, we store it in the results array. And lastly, the sequential execution. So thanks to the chaining to the promise, we make sure that each request is completed before moving to the next one. Once all promises have been resolved, we return the results array, which contains the data for each user. Let's see in action. Here we are passing three functions, each one fetching the data for different user ID. So fetch sequential data will call each function in sequence, first for user 1, then user 2, and finally for user 3. So notice how each API request wait for the previous one to finish before making the next one. So when all data is fetched, the result is an array with all user posts written in the same order as the functions were provided.